Hey guys, Nacho here, and just going to go over my final final form of my Titan for the season. I am super happy with him at this point. He just radiates damage everywhere. I absolutely love it. His Sunder is just popping everything. We got a bunch of heralds going. We got so many spirit buffs. We got Wind Dancer and Scavenge Plating, Charge Regulation, all of this stuff. So we are getting buffs out the wazoo between Batar's Vengeance, Headhunter. Like, we just absolutely put out the buffs too. It's great. I am having so much fun. Yeah, we're just gonna go over what we've been doing towards the end game project here. So getting into the skill gems here, we have a lot of them. Herald of Ash, we're running Swift Affliction 3, Magnified Area, Compressed Duration, just to have value there, I guess. And then Herald of Ice running Overreach, Elemental Armament, Long Shot, Freeze, and Cold Attunement. Pretty happy here as well. Herald of Thunder, Living Lightning to help a little bit of shock going on. More shock again, and then Swift Affliction 3, Elemental Armament, Long Shot. I'm not sure if Swift Affliction 2 is better, right? I forget, but I was thinking about it. I forget what the skill gem says though. Prolonged Duration and Precision on Scavenge Plating. If I had a little bit more spirit, like if I got a full 50 spirit on the amulet instead of 30, and then say I was also into spirit base, I would be running Cannibalism for sure. I'm actually like 3 spirit short or something like that of running Cannibalism, so unfortunate, but is what it is. And then Charge Regulation, because we're getting Endurance and Frenzy, so it's just a bunch more defense. Combat Frenzy, so we can gain Frenzy charges automatically, which is super nice. Wind Dancer is giving us some Armor Break for Scavenge Plating. So we got Armor Break 3 on there, Lightning Attunement, Magnified Area, Uruk Smelting, and Shock. So we can also proc Herald of Thunder with it. So if we go down, you'll see we just proc Herald of Thunder, everything starts dying, blah blah blah. So it's really nice. It's super comfy for mapping, especially if we want to like be aggressive with sprinting. We're not worried about going down and like having to log out and all that excessive stuff. Sunder here is our main mapping skill. So we've managed to put most of the empower damage on the global weapon sets. So both our Sunder and Shield Wall are getting a ton of damage from that. And we just, Echoing Cry, Infernal Cry to give the empowered check. And then we gain the fire damage also. We're doing a pretty reasonable amount of everything. I think full go, we are at 80k cold damage and 54k lightning damage. And then whatever Infernal Cry is giving us, it actually doesn't show in the tooltip. And when you buff with Infernal Cry, this is just rage ticking up here, so which is kind of annoying, but whatever. So we get that extra 47%, which is near the amount of cold damage, but I don't have, like on my first weapon, I don't have any flat fire like anywhere really. I have cold here, cold on the ring, and then I have lightning on this ring and lightning on the weapon. So I imagine my fire damage is probably like between 20 and 25k also. So 200k Sunders. It's pretty nice. And then we also get all of our more damage multis, like to stun enemies and long shot, etc. Right. Shield Charge is our free skill for the build. We're using Batar's Vengeance. It's 2 proc Herald of Ice and just really generic good damage. Like it's 47% extra damage or damage gained as with my current setup, with the amount of rage that I have. So I'm really happy with this. Shield Charge, you just run into a pack, it procs and you pop the whole pack immediately also. It's pretty nice. So we're running Embitter here. So if we use Infernal Cry, which should add to this, I'm pretty sure, maybe not, it doesn't, or it has the attack here. So it is an attack. So I'm pretty sure Infernal Cry converts, but either way, I'm not having an issue. Actually, I could see if it just ticks down when I do it, but I haven't looked. So we're running Freeze, Cold Attunement, and Magnified Area, just to like freeze more stuff, right? And you really want to hit a small pack first, like if it's like an ailment map or something like that, you can run into a few issues like super big mobs freezing them immediately. So until you have the added cold damage, you want to just charge into a smaller pack, and then you have it immediately, right? Like, it's super super reliable that way, as opposed to trying to just like freeze a rare or something. It's just a little harder. So once you have the cold damage though, it kills everything. But I could probably shield charge straight through maps. Between shield charge and wind dancer, like, they'll clear maps. And then we're running shield wall for single target. We swapped off of earth shatter just because shield wall's better damage. Shield wall for don't fry and cry is just crazy damage right now. We also had to fully commit to a really high armor shield. Like, we weren't able to run life on the shield anymore. Like, we really need some sources of life. So the shield and the glove are our only sources of armor, basically. So we got PDR and armor applies elemental here, which I'm pretty happy about. The boots, we've ran these pretty much the whole season. We made these pretty early on, and these are just, I don't think I'll ever replace them. There's nothing I can, like, I want the life from here, and you have to have it movement speed in the prefix. So, like, the amount of armor you can even get from a boot is kind of like negligible. Headhunter, do I need to say more? Everybody wants to run Headhunter. If you can find room for it in your build, you should absolutely be running Headhunter. It's crazy the amount of power that it gives you. Think about the amount of rares that have, like, gain is extra, gain is this, gain is that, or deal extra damage, break armor, magnified area. Like, you get multiplicative effects. Like, I've had crazy off-screen Sunders with this. And then the gloves, we needed big armor, and then we got some flat damage. I think I'd prefer life here instead of flat damage, but there's just not much on the market. And then again, we got +1 instead of +2. There's just not much around. So I was thinking about crafting one of these, just getting like a good armor base with attack speed, and then hoping I can get armor in a prefix, and then desecrate attacks, or get armor and melee skills, sorry, and then desecrate for attack speed. But I just haven't done it, and that'd be the way to get life, but like getting the prefixes is really hard right now, so I'd rather not. I'll just stick with these. That's fine. And then Vertex running +3, and then skill gems have no attribute requirements is extremely important for the build. I'd prefer to have Chaos Res here instead of crit, but that's what I got. So we got the 2 sockets instead too, so that's fine. And then the amulet, we're running Giga Life Amulet with some spirit. Melee skills, all attributes is really good for the gems. Otherwise, you're committing a lot of skill nodes to it. Like, all attributes is the most effective. And if I could get like another attribute instead of fire res, I guess would probably be better. But because I'm overtuned on all my reses. But this also helps with like pen maps and whatnot. So I'm pretty happy with the resistance balance right now. I would like to get 5% more chaos res, but I don't really want to trade this armor applies to lightning damage socket. Like, lightning damage, I don't know, this feels like the one damage I want to mitigate the most of all the elementals. Like, if I had to pick one to stand out as the one, which I have, is lightning damage. Like, I have double the lightning damage than I do any of the other ones. Fire is okay, but it's more like ignites just fucking hurt. And then cold damage is, I don't know. I don't see that many. I didn't die to that many super big cold hits, and ever since I swapped to just committing more into lightning damage mitigation, it feels really good. And then versus bosses, we honestly just don't have jack shit. We just stun them and call it a day. Like, even through all the DR and stuff, they just get stunned instantly. So that's the gear and the skill gems. Hopping into the skill tree. So Ascendancy point wise, we're taking hulking form, crushing impacts, and then mysterious lineage. So with the coming calamity, this node's obviously not that good. You don't get that much armor from coming calamity. It's only 294. So we're not wasting 2 ascendancy points that way. We're just going to take the stun stuff for bosses and whatnot, and then crushing blows, which isn't bad either. I was on Earthbreaker when I was on Earth Shatter for this still, but Shield Wall's it's just better. Like, especially with the big armor shield, just play into the shield wall thing, and then pretty standard start here. It could be considered to go this way instead of this start, but it's a lot of increased damage. So the main advantage going this way was doing like attack speed and some accuracy stacking stuff, but with the hurt to Falcon Dive, I'm not really a fan of going accuracy stacking anymore. It's pretty annoying. So We polished iron. This is most of our stun threshold. This does a great job, honestly, even with the low amount of armor we have. And then greatest defense is our anoint, obviously. So here's where the skill tree, I guess, kind of gets a little interesting. We've got all the empower damage on the global weapon sets, so both of our Sunder and our shield wall get that way. The way that we did that is we made some of our defense and some of our movement conditional, which if you're playing like hardcore or something, you probably don't want to do. So probably wouldn't consider doing this. But I put this cluster of armor and armor to elemental on conditional, and then these 3 movement nodes are now conditional. I had these 4 also conditional on the weapon set 1, but I removed them. So we can still be maimed and hindered, I guess, on bosses, but it's not really a problem. We get really good damage. And then I guess this also, instead of being on global weapon sets, we have it on weapon set 1. So we're really not getting hit by bosses. So we just kind of dodge everything, or we stun them extremely quick. We took the lucky damage for stun, also the stun cluster here for weapon set 2. I guess I could put this on weapon set 1. And then put, I don't know, I guess I could swap this over to global then. If I swap this into, then I still need to find a point, but that's not that bad. Anyways, I'd probably do that. Probably worth doing. Just an oversight on my part, really. But anyways, and then the rage cluster here down here, it's really nice. We got a lot of armor break effect for the bossing weapon set on shield wall. So shield wall is on weapon set 2. And then weapon set 1, we put the ailment cluster over here. This feels good. This is probably one of the clusters I would think about removing. It does have 70% chance, or 60%, 64% chance for ailments, which is pretty nice. Because you really want to freeze and not stun. If I'm not mistaken, you can't have them both at the same time. So like you really want to freeze things. And so I've taken that cluster. But if I kept working with the build and maybe got a little bit more elemental damage or something like that, I would remove that and then take probably just some more generic damage that's better, maybe some more attack speed, maybe make the path over here, because this is like 7 points. Getting over here is like 9 points though, or whatever. It's kind of a lot, but more attack speed's always cool. So that's the skill tree. I guess I have we're running the Sunder prism here. Shield wall does plenty of damage, so I mean I could put shield wall here or something else. We're running Heart of the Well with double gain, cold and lightning, and then recover max life on kill. That's really nice. Skill effect durations, okay, doesn't really matter. The recover life was much more impactful here. And then we're running the Dance with Death from Nothing Diamond. So this gets us the acceleration cluster here. So it's 18% skill speed, a little bit of move speed. Yeah, I was running the one for Resolute Technique for some life, which was nice. You got 6% life, some aftershock stuff, the slowing debuff one, good amount of increased damage here, stun build up an area. I was also considering running Blood Magic. You get a good chunk of armor here, armored elemental here, more armored to projectiles, and then you get these nodes also, which are close range, but that's easy enough to hit. I wish this node was better. That would make this one even nicer to hit. But yeah, that's the skill tree. That's the build, and I hope you guys have a good one.